Discover 5, Unit and 11-12 speaking test. Hello.
Greetings.
Can you introduce yourself for me, please?
So, my name is NGUYên. I'm currently living in District 11th here. Currently studying at school, probably one of the most famous schools out there. Myself is 12 years old and I'm going to turn 13 about 5 months, in about 5 months, and currently having a brother. And currently I'm now in Discover 5F in CC.
Yeah. Excuse me. What's your favourite thing to do?
My hobby includes playing video games mostly. Sometimes I read books when I'm too bored. Sometimes I take a paper to draw some stuff related to games, of course. And usually every time I'm at school, I just enjoy my daily walk from school to home.
Okay. What do you want to be when you're older?
Currently I'm not decided, but if I would have to decide, I would follow in my dad or mom career, like an accountant or whatever. Pretty simple, not much.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's move on to the first point. Here we've got protect animals. Why do you think we should protect animals?
So I think there's like 4 reasons. The first reason is, it's obvious, is that it's morally wrong. I mean, animals have their own feelings and emotions. It can hunt stuff. It can feel threatened and do other stuff like us. It is a sentient creature, and killing it means that we kind of like killed a human, a living being. So basically, it's just wrong. Morally. Second reason is that it affects heavily upon the food chain and the environment surrounding it. Killing an animal will lead to rise of another. Say, for example, a simple food chain of a tiger, a deer, and the grass. The tiger eats the deer, and the deer eats the grass. If we annihilate all the deers, that will lead to the rise of grass, and the tiger will all die because there's no deers to eat. If we annihilate all tigers, then the deers will grow exponentially, and there will be no grass left. So basically, if you kill one animal in one environment, it will drain drastically depending on what animal you kill or extinct. Now, the third one, it also affects us human beings. See, we grow crops like wheat, plants, and etc. Animals like to eat them and feast on them. However, those same animals can also protect other animals that want to eat our crops. Also, they can be used for parks, amusement parks. Now, I would like to demonstrate an example here to make it more understandable.
Okay.
Now, see, in the ancient times in China, Mao Zedong saw that a lot of birds were eating citizens' crops and wheat. So he hired a lot of people to kill these birds and make them extinct in a region in China. So that led to a horrible cause of the rise of grasshoppers that led to more wheat to be gone, and a lot of citizens died due to starvation. Yeah, that's very horrible. Now, the last reason I would like to bring up is that it is beautiful and it provides us with food and care. I'm sure that anybody here knows about dogs, right? Yeah, so if you have one, then you know that it cares about you a lot, and you also care about it a lot. You would take care of it as a sibling or as a son, like actual love. It will bring you care and love like an actual family, right? And sometimes professional trained dogs can even cure some patients and even saving people in life and death situations. And well, of course, some animals are very beautiful. For example, this tiger right here, or a peacock, or any other animal you could think of. They are all beautiful and natural in their own way. so we should kill them.
Very comprehensive, nicely done. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So here we've got teeth are important. What I want you to do is tell me, what do you think humans and animals use their teeth for?
So for us humans, there's I think about two main functions I can come up with. First is obviously we eat. We take big bites out of our food, chew it, grind it, and swallow it into our stomach. Now, second one is that we can use it to speak. See, if you were to remove all the teeth in your mouth, you would feel it's very hard to speak because you can't control the air currents out of your mouth, and therefore that will heavily affect on your language. Now, for animals, this becomes more diverse. So first, some animals, mostly carnivores, like alligators and sharks, use their really sharp teeth in order to kill animals straight up. Not even just chew, but just kill it straight up. Next, we also have animals can also use their teeth to find mates. For example, these horses, they use their teeth in order to fight for mates. And sometimes these animals fight each other. So how do they fight each other? Now, some species, like elephants, they use their tusks or their other teeth in order to collide with each other and bang each other on the tusks. Next one, they also use them to communicate. For example, this horse right here, I do not know why is it screeching like that. This one's kind of hard. So basically, they can use their teeth to create weird noises like screeches and stuff to threaten their enemies or to communicate with mates or with others, same species. Now finally, beavers can use their teeth to build dams. Like they use their pretty sharp teeth to pick up stones and bricks and wood in order to form a big wall. Also, and finally, some types of creatures are prosimians, I think. They are similar to monkeys, but they're not monkeys. So some creatures that belong to this type, like lemurs, use their teeth to groove, aka cleaning themselves, using their teeth to scrape off the dust off their skin.
Good.
That's it.
Excellent answer. Okay, let's move on to this next bit here. So, why are wheels important?
Wheels are important for multiple reasons. The first one, pretty obvious. We use it for mostly traveling. You can name all sorts of vehicles: planes, blimps, cars, motorbikes, bicycles, etc. And the list goes on. Wheels make it really convenient to carry stuff, carry humans and carries anything in general without having too much of a struggle. For example, a wagon. You can't lift 1 kilogram easily unless you're a bodybuilder, but high chances that you are not. So you can't really lift 1 kilogram that easily. But with a wagon, you can move it easily, just as a feather. Now, next thing, if we add teeth to our wheel, become gears. Now, gears in the modern world has become an essential part. For example, as you can see at this clock uses a lot of gears. That's because the gears uses the rotation to imitate the actual time. For example, a second is like tick tock, and the gear rotates that exact same second in like 1 orbit, 2 orbits. And also, gears is also used for movement. For example, bicycles, as you probably may have seen, uses their gears to have a chain, so that you can use the pedal and just move it forward. The gears also used in many stuff. Wheels also used in many stuff, like the doorknob, the fan, and sometimes PC use fans.
Good. Okay, so now we're going to move on to animal communication. Can you explain to me some of the different ways that animals communicate with each other? and some of the circumstances in which they would happen.
So there's three main types of animal communication. Animal that's communicating with each other, the same species. Animal that is communicating with other species. And finally, animal communicating with us humans. The very top of the food chain, and a very sentient creature. Now, animals that communicate with each other, there are, I think, like three main reasons. First is to warn each other about predators. For example, monkeys has a lot of sort of predators like cheetahs, lions, leopards. The list goes on, and each of these predators, the monkeys makes a different sound so that other monkeys nearby can know about the predator and run away, be safe. Another thing is that the same animals can get food by this method. See, if a creature gets food, they maybe can create a kind of signal to lead all the others to the location of the food and bring it back home so that it won't starve to death. For example, the bee here. Now, as you can see, the bee is doing some kind of wiggly dance move. This is called a waggle. This waggle will help all the other bees know the location of the nectar, or in this case, the honey, to bring it back to the nest and make it into some fresh honey. That's great. Oh, right. There's another one. Now, they can also use sound to attract mates and defending their territories. Now, some animals, like the cuckoo butter, that's what I like to call, the cuckoo butter imitates special noises from camera noises to a literal chainsaw to attract their mates, and the mates might find them interesting and, well, be mates with them. Now, as you can see here, a penguin is screeching at another bird. Now, what is it doing? Yes, it is of course defending its territory from other intruders that is not familiar with. Now, on to the case with communication with other species. Now, right. So some creatures can use the sound to threaten other creatures, mostly the predators, because they don't want to scare off their prey off, because that wouldn't mean good for them. So we have the rattlesnakes here. The rattlesnake can use its tail to make a rattle sound, hence the name rattlesnake. The rattle sound will show that it's threatened, and this noise will most likely make the predator feel scared and run away. Not scared, but still run away. Also, hippos make a big sound. Beavers slap their tail into the water. This creates a big splash and a big sound. This big sound scares away all the other intruders. Now,
I can give you a hand with the last one. The last one, so you're absolutely right. You've been talking about how creatures communicate with the same species. You've got creatures where they communicate with different species. The last one that we spoke about in class was when creatures communicate with humans.
sure.
Do you know any examples of where that might have happened?
A parrot, though I do not remember the name, has remembered quite a lot of words. I remember like 31 words. And it is capable of actually pretty complex communications. Unfortunately, it died at 31. Well, yeah, 31. So its last words was something and you be good. It's basically the power of the very spot. There's also another ape, which unfortunately I still do not remember the name. I remembered 450 words through the keyboard. That's even more than my brother.
Okay, very good. Right, so let's move on to the next one here. What do different cultures give to the world?
Basically, all countries contribute their own things. British contribute the revolutionary area.
The
or
industrial area.
Yeah.
Yes.
industrial area. USA, I don't know. Uh, mm, Still don't know. Japan probably gave sushis. Vietnam probably gave the best cuisines and healthy cuisines.
Okay.
Oh.
So let's come back to that. How do we categorize those?
Hmm.
How do we categorize them?
Category.
Yeah. So you've already mentioned about Japan and Vietnam, and you mentioned about cuisine. Cuisine is an incredible way where people do influence each other's culture. But what other kind of areas do other countries influence other people?
So the main countries that I find that contribute the most to the world is Mesopotamia, Egypt,
Yeah.
China, and Mexico.
So what did they provide to us that influenced us?
The Mesopotamia provided a sailing boat, which allowed sailors to sail easily without having to buy a big boat or to build one. That is, the Mesopotamia also built the writing tablets. Oh, they are made of clay, and you can probably see them once you visit Mesopotamia, or known today as Iraq. Now, the most important invention is of Mesopotamia is wheels. Yeah, wheels. So yeah, these fans, these PCs used here is all thanks to Mesopotamia or Iraq. Now, Egypt. They are really talented at mathematics, astronomy, and other forms of art like music and just drawing and art in general. They also used hieroglyphics, which basically is just a fancy word of saying arts that is used to demonstrate stuff. But the Egyptians also invented another revolutionary thing, which is paper. This paper, though, wasn't made from tree barks or just trees in general. It was made from a plant called the papyrus. But anyways, this paper then led to the traditional paper today, which is still used to make homework, which I despise.
What about this one here in particular? So you mentioned about inventions, you've talked about different types of cuisines. This here, what is this, and what would you regard it as?
This is the Olympics, invented by the Greece, and this helps bring all five continents of the world together, and basically just unites the world together as a whole. Things like these, well, I classify them as a unation to the world. There's also another type which is very popular. You already know, that is the World Cup. Yeah.
Good.
And this one is a traditional design of, I think, China?
Okay.
China, probably.
Yeah.
Well, aside from really fancy flower umbrellas, they also created the compass. The compass which we use for navigation, and sailors use them to navigate on the middle of nowhere in the sea. And sometimes, rarely, but yeah, that is still a thing. Pilots use the compass to land on the exact pathway on the airport. Exact pathway on the airport. Even when the GPS isn't working or it's just really cloudy and foggy.
Okay.
And finally, Mexico, so in Mexico there's an ancient civilization called the Maya. This Maya created a lot of structures and statues. They're also pretty talented at mathematics and astronomy in general. They also use hieroglyphics just as the Egyptian, and they discovered an incredible ingredient, that is the cocoa beans. These cocoa beans might not be familiar to them because they use them in drinks to make people healthier. It was quite better, however, it is now known today as the infamous chocolate bars. I like it.
Okay. Right. So we're coming up to the last few slides now. We've now got mountains. What can you tell me about mountains and why are they so important?
Mountains are high. Mountains are high. That's the only thing you can tell. I know the function of the mountain, but I can't really tell them a lot because you can obviously
That's right. Okay.
you can obviously see these mountains as really tall and really triangular or pointy.
Okay.
Also, between these mountains, it can form a valley, and in these they can form hills. Actually, hills are just a smaller version of mountains, not mountains.
Okay. So we're talking about this up here. What does this produce? What is so important about that?
What does mountains produce?
Well, this diagram.
This produces this produces a constant and stable source of clean drinking water, like rivers and stuff.
So what's this process called?
This is what we call the water cycle.
Okay. So you're absolutely right. Mountains are a vital part of the water cycle. What do you think these pictures resemble or mean in regards to mountains?
Well, I think the first picture resembles that we can grow crops on mountains and hills because sometimes climate height is an essential part. Now maybe you have eaten French fries. If you haven't eaten, try it. It's very delicious. Now French fries are made from potatoes, and guess what? Potatoes are grown from the Alps, which is a mountain range. Also, good cocoa bean, good coffee beans or cocoa beans are grown at an altitude of 1 to 1.5 kilometers. Now, the second one is talking about the ecosystem of mountains. Mountains contains a lot, no, not a lot, but still very distinct creatures from other parts of the world. Some can only be found in mountains. For example, is mountain goat right here, or eagles, or snow leopards. Maybe, I don't know, because up there is the snow.
Okay.
I'm still not sure, but still,
Okay.
it's possible.
Hold that thought. We're now going to come to here. Mountain landscapes and weather. We've got 3 distinct zones in the mountain. Can you describe to me how the climate and the ecosystems and the life changes as we rise up?
Okay. So at the bottom, it's obvious. Well, the bottom basically is warm. It's really warm, and it has a lot of plants and animals. Though it can sometimes snow in winter because it's near a mountain. Now at this middle part here, it can get pretty cold. There's a little plants, maybe few animals that can resist the cold weather there. And at the top, there it is freezing cold. It is really cold at the top of the mountain. There is no life at all. There's no plants, there's no animals. It's just snow, glaciers, blizzards. That's it. It's just really cold and stuff.
Okay. And that concludes the video test.